Okay, this is going to be a review of the KUIU Pro 6000 pack bag. I'm not going to spend much time on the frame and suspension because I reviewed them on a different video. So if you're looking to see the frame and suspension review, go ahead and look at the KUIU Pro LT 4000 review. If you Google it under the same YouTube channel, you'll see it coming up there. So I've had the frame and suspension for several months now. A couple months ago I got the Pro 6000 bag just to have a little more space. Recently took it on a 5-day trip to the Boundary Waters canoe area in northern Minnesota, which is a wilderness area. A lot of canoeing up there. Obviously, canoe area, you do about 80% canoeing, 20% carrying the canoe and your camp on your back. So gave it a pretty good breaking in, made some notes about it. In this case, I packed it up for an elk hunt. Right now, it's not my actual pack set, just an idea of volume though, so you guys can see what you can get in one of these. I pay full price for all my stuff. I don't get sponsored by anybody, with the exception of I get a military discount or a veterans discount on some stuff. So just so you know, this will be a fair, non-bought, non-partial review. I'm not a KUIU fanboy. I'm not a Mystery Ranch or a Seek or an EXO or anything fanboy. I buy whatever I think is the best value that fits my needs. So starting out here, side of the bag. Something I really like about the 6000, and one reason I went with this over the 5500, the Pro LT 5500, is it's got the side pockets here. These side pockets are very well set up. They have two different zip pulls on them, so you can pretty much open and close these side pockets any way you want to. So in this case, this is how I carry a spotting scope in this bag, and the way my setup is, it's perfect. The frame or the leg is about flat on the bottom there, just off the floor, so I can set the bag down without issue. And this side pocket completely covers my spotting scope. So I'll take him out quick. Nice and protected out of the elements, very well executed on that pocket. Spotting scope is just an Athlon Aries 65mm. I know there's certainly a lot bigger scopes out there, but this one works well for me, and I can actually carry it up a mountain. So again, you got two different zipper pulls on these side pockets here. I really like that. You can also do the same thing with the rifle. You can stick the butt down in this water bottle pocket or in the KUIU or anybody else's, honestly, gun carrier. Stick it up through here with the top and bottom unzipped, and this is going to completely cover your scope in action. I've tried it with the rifle over here, which is a Tikka T3X and a big scope, and it works perfect. So like side pockets, volume unknown. I wish pack makers would list the volume of every pouch and compartment on their packs, but they don't, which is kind of a frustration of mine. So if anybody that makes packs is watching this, list the volume of your pockets and your compartments. Roughly, I understand it's hard to get an exact measurement, but give us an idea. All right, moving on here to the other side, you've got the same big side pocket. Underneath you've got this, I call them water bottle pockets. So I'm sure you can tell if you look at the photos on the website that when the side pocket is full, it's going to be difficult to get the water bottle in and out, and that's a very accurate assessment, right? You can do it, but that's certainly not going to be something you're going to be able to pull out and drink out of as you hike or hunt or camp. So I use these pockets anyway for water storage. I never pull water bottles in and out of them to drink. When I'm hunting or when I'm hiking, I clip one of the Nalgene's on the front of my harness. That's my drinking water. When I empty that one, I'll have my partner, if I don't want to take the pack off, switch it out with one of these in the side pockets. I do also use a bladder at times. I don't have one in here now because my nephew borrowed my other pack and the bladder. So anyway, you can get these in and out. These pockets are large enough if you find a good angle here. You can get them in and out. So it's a pain. I mean, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't, you know, but again, just for water storage, to have a buddy help you out now and then to switch water bottles, not a big deal. They come in and out. These pockets are very large. When I was hiking in the Boundary Waters, I had an Nalgene in there and a big old bottle of cooking oil to fry fish. So a lot of capacity in there. You can almost get 2 water bottles in there, and they come with these pull cords here inside of them. So cord runs around the top here, so you can cinch this down if you want to. keep things from falling out, which is a nice touch. All right, the other side pocket here, we'll touch on the side straps real quickly. Kind of strange with this one. The way it's set up, or the location, it wants to come like right over the very bottom of this side pocket, but it won't stay there because it's obviously angled. So this one kind of runs down below here. It does a good job of pulling the bag tight, but as far as attaching stuff, it's kind of awkward. This one obviously comes straight over this pocket, which is nice. It can help take some of the stress off the zipper if you really fill it up. But just wanted to note that this one, in my opinion, kind of runs in a strange place. It does what it's supposed to as far as compressing the bag down, but it's kind of awkward. All right, the other side pocket here, I filled up with some stuff just to give you an idea of volume. So in here we have, this is a first aid / emergency survival kit. Just a hygiene kit with meds, toothbrush, deodorant, things like that. 32-ounce Nalgene and a kill kit. So, and there was room to spare in there, just to give you another kind of visual reference of what you can fit in these side pockets. 2 Nalgenes, and they still got plenty of room in there. So I like the fact that they have those pockets. It's really nice to be able to keep stuff you want to get at quickly. Easily accessible. I know some people don't like that, but for me it works great. Looking in here, you've got a zipper in the back here. If you can see it, the zipper, and that's so you can run hydration in these side pockets. They don't have a hanger in there, which kind of doesn't make sense to me since you have a zipper for hydration. But having said that, I run a 3-liter bladder, usually on the other side because my rifle's on this side. Top of it comes up here. And I just take a little carabiner from the top of the bladder to this loop, which is kind of a mess because I've got my rifle set up on here right now. Tuck that out of the way. I run a little carabiner from the top of the bladder to just this attachment loop that KUIU has on the top of the bag. That does a fine job of holding it up, and that works well for me. So the lid, KUIU lists this as 8,000 cubic inches, which I don't doubt. This is a very big lid. On the front here, you've got just your normal buckles. You can adjust the height, so if you want to float the lid up and fill up that extendable shroud into the bag, you can, which is great. Front buckles are just standard buckles. I have absolutely no issues with that. They're placed well. You can still get at all your zippers with this lid buckled. You can leave your horseshoe zippers on the side here like I usually do, so you can reach into the main compartment with the lid still fastened down. So we'll unbuckle him quick. Obviously that flips up, gives you access through the top of the bag into the main compartment. Also gives you access here to this horseshoe zip depending on where you leave your zipper pulls. So we'll turn it around quick. I'm going to detach the lid. So on the back side, you see you've got these different things. So again, you can still float the lid if you've got a bunch of stuff sticking out the top of your bag in that shroud. This is a gripe of mine. I don't know why they went with these flippers here. I don't like them at all, and just the fact that they don't stay tight. So if you get them, if you pull these straps down tight into there and then flip it shut and push it pretty hard, sometimes you got to give it a tug, they'll generally stay shut, but they don't do a great job of staying shut, and I'm not sure why they went with that design. That makes no sense to me. I would have went with just a simple, I understand the quick release to get the lid off here, but I would have went with just a simple buckle like this with just a pull through friction lock on it. So this is one of the first things I'll note that I don't like about this bag. I don't understand the whole flipper thing. It's just as easy to use a standard buckle that you can just pull the strap through. And these I often find loose. All right, the lid stays in place when they come loose. I haven't had any issues with it moving or flopping off, partially because it also has this attachment point, but this is something I'd like to see KUIU change. I don't understand the point of that, and for me it just doesn't work great. So we'll take this off. Again, you've got this center connect here. The lid itself, nice lid. All right, This one differs from the Pro LT 5500 in the fact that it has 2 zippers and it's a bigger lid. So my brother-in-law has the Pro LT 5500. I think while we're there, real quick, I'll just touch on a couple of the differences I noted. One is the lid, which kind of surprised me. They're very similar sized bags. I assume they'd use the same lid, but they don't. This one has the 2 compartments, and the Pro LT 5500 only has 1. And this one's going to have a little more capacity. The other thing that surprised me about the difference between the 2 bags is the Pro LT 5500 is a taller bag, right? Which makes sense because it doesn't have the side pockets. But I was surprised just how tall that bag was. I would say it's a good 6 inches higher than the 6000 without the shroud extended. So with this top flap down, just like you see here on both bags, that Pro LT is going to sit several inches higher. I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's personal preference. I haven't had a chance to really use his pack and put any miles on it, so I don't know which I would prefer. But just a note between the 2 bags, if you are doing what I did and trying to decide. So capacity of this lid is enormous. It stays on top of the bag, like I said, very well. It fits very well. Even if these come loose, this holds it in place. So I like the lid. I like having that option. You could put hydration bladder in here. Underneath here, you've got this little push through there for your hydration tube. To me, that would be very awkward having that kind of weight moving around up high, but you can do it in a pinch if you want to or need to. So just to give you an idea of lid capacity, I stuck 2 folding camp chairs in here. I'm not reviewing these, but these are the Sunyear camp chairs off Amazon, and I've been super impressed with these. I'm 225 pounds, and they're as sturdy today as they were when I bought them. Used them on several day trips, and have yet to have one break, and they're just wide enough to be comfortable. So I had one of those in both pouches. I'll give you another quick reference here if I can find my Nalgene's. So 1 Nalgene, 2 Nalgene, and you still got a ton of room in there, right? So the lid is very big. It's got a lot of room for guys that are looking for a lid with a lot of storage. This lid is very lightweight for its size. It does not come with a built-in system to wear this as a fanny pack or a day pack, which I'm fine with. You can use these hookups here and put another strap and buckle on there if you did want to strap this onto your pack frame, say if you're using the load hauler, which I have, which is nice, and that's exactly what I'll do if I'm fortunate enough to kill an elk or a mule deer this fall and I put the load hauler on for a second trip. I'm going to be strapping this to the pack frame, so I've got some necessities with me. All right, moving on here, top of the bag. So KUIU notes on the website that you can use this in day hunt mode, basically without the lid, but they don't really show you or explain to you what that is. So we'll go over that quick. You use these same straps that you use for your lid, hook them through these loops that are sewn in to this top flap. We're gonna cinch her down. Same thing on this side. Through the loops, close your little dingle, cinch her down. So this is what they're talking about when they're saying lidless use. You've got this sewn in flap here that covers the top of the bag, and that works extremely well. So I hope you guys can see that. Very well done. It closes this off nice. Nothing's getting out of there. No debris getting in there. You know, it's not waterproof. The bag itself isn't waterproof for long periods of time in rain or anything like that. But I really like that design. This is just part of my rifle carry system, so disregard the fact that that's there. Something else KUIU has on this bag that they don't have on the Pro LT 4000, which drives me nuts, is they actually have a strap across the top of the bag to keep everything nice and tight, all right? I don't know why they don't put that on all their bags. They need to do that, but they have it on the 6000, and I absolutely love that. That way you can keep this tight. If this bag is mostly empty and I've got stuff in these easy to access pockets, it's not flopping around out there because there's no way to cinch that to the frame. So good job to them on this bag for including that. And again, you can see here, just the day hunt mode here without the lid works great. So no issues there. Take this off real quick and we'll touch on top loading. All right, so this bag, like any traditional pack, is a top loader if you want it to be. So you can obviously see down in there, I've got a bunch of stuff in the bag just to show you volume, but we'll go over that in a little bit. But again, you've got this snow shroud, as I call it, or this extendable shroud. You can fill the bag all the way up to the top of this. Throw the lid on top, and everything is nice and covered and protected. So I have not yet used it that way. Even 4.5 day trip into the wilderness in northern Minnesota, I had plenty of volume in here. I carried all of my stuff, all of the group stuff for my family. So a tarp, a stove, a frying pan, fish oil, frying oil, and then I carried all my food and all of my 10-year-old daughter's food. So I had 9 days worth of food and all my camp gear for 4.5 days, and I still had room to spare. So just an idea again of volume, but traditional top loader if you want it to be. I like to kind of tidy things up here, forgive me. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the bag here. Okay, so front pockets, I'm going to refer to this as the front of the bag because when I take it off to get stuff out of there, it seems like it's the front to me. You've got side zip here and a side zip here. So unlike the Pro LT 4000, this front pocket has a divider in there, a partition right down the middle here. So it's a fabric partition. You've got a zip on each side. This is split into two. So this is a pocket, this is a pocket. This is not all one big pocket. So again, to give you an idea of volume, I just stuffed an Untitled puffy coat in this side. Obviously, if I was actually packing up a mountain, this would be packed into its own pocket to save space. But give you an idea of what you can hold. And the other side here, these side zips, by the way, even with all your straps strapped, if I can find some here. So side strap, front strap, even with them strapped, you can get in these pockets, right? KUIU does a good job of that. They make a note of that. They make an effort to do that, but it's really easy to get in there and keep your quick access stuff like your puffy coat, rain gear and stuff in there, and you don't have to worry about unstrapping straps if something comes up quick and you need to get it out. So on this side, I have a rain pant, Gore-Tex rain jacket, and a pack cover. So take a quick look in there. If you look in here, you can hopefully see this fabric partition here. It's about 3.5, 4 inches of depth, all right? So they make these pockets with a lot of volume in them. You're able to get a fair amount of stuff in there. For reference, this is bigger than my spotting scope. That goes in there no problem. I wouldn't see any sort of issue getting a spotting scope up to 85 millimeter in there, possibly something a little larger depending on how full you have the main bag. So again, the partition side here, if you stuff the main bag really full, as you can see, it's going to protrude into here a little bit, but this pocket still has a lot of its own space. So this kind of brings me to the second thing I would personally change if I was designing this bag for my use. I don't see the necessity of having a partition in here and making this 2 pockets. If I was to design a bag for personal use, I would eliminate this right side zipper and I would eliminate that partition, and I would just make this one big pocket like the Pro LT 4000 has. That way you can just reach through, grab everything you need. It's going to save you a little bit of weight in the zipper, and it's just going to clean things up a little bit. So again, not a design flaw by any means. I'm sure they did that intentionally. But for my use, I'm not going to put a spotting scope or anything super heavy that far out away from my back. It's going to be lightweight stuff, puffy coat, rain gear, things like that. I would prefer to eliminate this one zipper on this side, make that one big pass through. Top pocket here, KUIU has these on every bag I've ever used of theirs. Really nice for quick, easy to access stuff, some emergency TP. In this case, it's just wet wipes, a headlamp. I've got some 550 cord, what else? Chem lights and some other miscellaneous stuff in there. So fairly decent sized pocket there. You can get all your necessities in there, things you need to get to very quickly. You can generally get in there even with the lid on, depending on the pack fill. If nothing else, you just unbuckle the 2 front buckles for the lid and you get in there. So let's move into the main bag. All right, so we've got top access to the main bag. We've also got horseshoe access to the main bag, which is one of the main reasons I purchased this over the Pro LT 5500. It is nice. I mean, even a side access here, where am I at? You gotta undo your straps now to access your main bag, which makes sense because that's what pulls everything together. So you can use this as a side zip like the Pro LT 5500 if you want to. Say the lid is on, I always leave the zippers there so I can do this if I need my buddy to grab something while I'm hiking or packing. Works just fine as a side zip. But one of the main selling points for me on this bag is this is a full horseshoe zip, which I really like. I mean, it goes way down to the bottom, so I can lay this pack flat, flop that open, and I can grab whatever I want or need out of this bag without unpacking. So you've got the two compartments here with the mesh lining in that horseshoe zip, and in here I just have spare clothes. I really like that. Again, if I get wet or I need to change something, I can flip that open, I can grab my spare clothes out of there. I don't have to unpack the main bag. So just looking at it here, you can see there's quite a bit of room left here in this main bag, both on the top and kind of around here in the front. But I did pack up a bunch of stuff just to give you a rough idea of what a 6000 will hold. So in my opinion, holding my 4000 pack up next to this main compartment with this down without the shroud up, in my opinion, is going to be about 4,000 cubic inches. All right, it looks almost identical to my Pro LT 4000 main compartment. So a rough guess for me, 4,000 with the shroud up. You're obviously going to add probably close to another 1,000 or another 1,000. So this is just the fleece vest, Uncompagre puffy pant. And then moving into food bags here, both these are orange bags. These are Mystery Ranch bags. I had a problem with my food bag tearing last year and decided to do something a lot more durable this year. These bags are amazing. Right now I've got 9 days worth of food in here. This is a mixture of MREs, instant potatoes, ramen, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I like the fact that these come with a separate loop so you can hang them in bear country, which is where I'll be this year. My second food bag here, this one has 7 dehydrated meals and 2 additional granola dehydrated meals. So again, that's 9 days worth of food. Sleeping pad, this is an insulated Climax Static V. Tent, just this is going to be kind of your average size tent here. This would be a small 2-man that you could get 2 guys into. If you're going with a bigger tent than this, you could either put the shroud up or you could run it on the bottom of the bag. And we'll touch on that here in a little bit. And the last thing I have in this main compartment is a 20-degree down sleeping bag. So it should give you a kind of a rough idea of the volume of the bag. Again, this horseshoe zip goes all the way down to the bottom. KUIU includes 2 cross straps and 2 vertical straps with their bag. You can run them at angles or straight up if you want to strap your food and stuff to this back panel here to keep it in place when you're hiking. Otherwise, aside from the 2 pockets in that zip open horseshoe, you've got these 2 mesh pockets here on the sides. So full length zip set up for a 3-liter bladder. It's got the hole here for the bladder tube, and it has the hanger here. So I like that. That's a nice touch. Generally, I'm going to run my bladder on this outside pocket with the carabiner hooked to this, like I explained, just in case it leaks. That's one less thing for me to have to worry about. And in that case, I'll probably leave this bottom zip open just a hair in case it does leak and water starts pooling. It can simply run out the bottom and it won't soak through the bag. But they do include one of these on both sides of this main compartment with the bladder hanger and the opening. So nice touch there. I like that. Again, I don't generally run my bladder in my main bag, but you certainly can. Just a note, there's no bladder holder on this back panel like there is on a lot of other bags. So if you're going to run a bladder in here, it's meant to be run off to the sides, and again, or in these outside pouches, which do have a hole for the bladder hose but no hanger. So all right, touch on the bottom here just a little bit. So like most packs, you've got 2 straps on the bottom here. Sorry about the dog hair. These loosen up quite nicely. They're big enough you can get a full-size tent in there. I've hiked with the Eureka 4-person Timberline in there. works just fine. So if you want something larger than that in there, like a huge 0-degree synthetic sleeping bag, you're gonna either have to really stuff it in there or find a different spot. But just to give you an idea, you've got a fair amount here. With this bag full and that 4-man timberline in here, I was stuffing it underneath, it just fit. So pretty good. I'm not gonna touch on how you separate the bag to carry meat or anything like that. There's a ton of videos out there. This separates just like every other KUIU bag, and the majority of bags out there are similar designs. So all in all, I really like the bag. There are a few things I would change. If I was designing this bag, I would eliminate this right hand zip, take the partition out and make that one pocket. We noted that with the water bottle in here and this full, it's difficult to get the water bottle out. I wouldn't change that because I like these side pockets, I like their volume, but just a note, it is kind of a pain in the butt. The first and main thing I would change on this bag is get rid of this stupid thing here. And I would just use a normal buckle like this that you can just slide the strap through and friction holds it in place, all right? So this is the only real gripe I currently have about this bag. So comparing this to the Pro LT 5500, you're adding a pound, maybe a little more. You're losing some height. Like I said, that Pro LT bag sits a few to several inches higher, which kind of surprised me, but I guess that's where the volume has to go. This one is obviously going to be a little bit wider. So other things, I mean, I wish these would come off here. My other Pro LT bag, these are removable. Not a huge deal here, it just gets to be a lot of straps hanging. Obviously, when I'm going hunting, these are gonna get rolled up. Everything's gonna be nice and tidy and hooked up. But all in all, good bag. Comparing this to my Pro LT 4000, I don't notice as much as of a fabric difference as I thought I might. This is obviously a different color. As you can tell by my shoulder straps, my Pro LT was in there. I forget the name of this camel. But I thought there'd be a big difference in fabrics. This is a heavier fabric. I mean, you can tell it is a heavier fabric. It's a different fabric, but not as big of a difference as I thought. So as far as durability, I don't have any issues with the Pro LT series. I think their fabric is going to be just fine. I hope this gives you guys a good idea. There's a few things I included here that I was trying to find online and I really couldn't. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I'll try and answer questions that come up. But again, so far great bag. It's going to be more than I need for 90% of what I do. As far as hunting, I'm going to be generally running the 4000. We are talking this year maybe a 5 or 6 day backpacking trip up high into the mountains of Montana, in which case I would probably run the bigger bag here. But well designed, works great with the lid, works great without a lid, with the exception of them stupid flip buckles. It's got adequate strapping to hold everything tight and in place. I have no complaints there. Again, it looks very busy with everything unhooked and hanging, but once you roll these up and clean everything up, I don't find it to be excessive. I think it's just the right amount. Again, this one side strap runs right at the bottom of the pocket here, which is kind of awkward. It does pull the bag together, which is great, but it makes it kind of weird to strap stuff in here. But again, all in all, I like the bag. I would give this, I'd say a good 9 stars out of 10. If they would just, for me personally, eliminate this zipper and the partition and fix these stupid floppy flipper buckles on the back here, should be a good 9.5. So go ahead, if you want to, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. I've got a few other packs I'm going to review yet. This was actually going to be a Mystery Ranch Sawtooth review, and my nephew showed up and borrowed that for a couple weeks. He's heading out west scouting for elk. So again, comment below if you have any questions, and make sure you're getting in shape. Elk season's just a couple months away. For you crazy bow hunters, not even. Good luck.